Hello and welcome to another episode of our Speakeasy podcast. As always, I'm John.
And I am Ken.
And it's Christmas. No, Halloween.
Oh,
no.
Christmas. It seems like Christmas with all the Christmas commercials going on and everything.
And all the people's house that are decorated.
Yes.
But folks, can we get through Thanksgiving first?
Yes, let's get through. Yes, let's do that. Let's enjoy our turkeys, our stuffing, all that fun stuff first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Let's be thankful.
Be thankful.
Don't be greedy.
Yes.
People are greedy. They just want gifts from Santa. They want to skip the pilgrims and go right to Santa.
Yes, I know. What is with that?
They go from Jack Skellington to, right? Is that his name? Jack Skellington? Skellington?
Skellington?
Skellington?
Skeleton, isn't it?
Just Jack Skeleton?
Yeah.
I feel like that sounds weird.
I know.
Right to Santa, and we skip
I know.
the pilgrims.
It's just nonsense. It's nonsense.
It is.
So, and I'm thankful that John had brought this last year. We did a repeat with the turkey heads.
I'm thankful you found it buried in the closet.
Yes, it was in my closet. I kept it in there, but I'm going to say it right now. I will be taking this off in about 1 second. Okay, it's coming off.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, I have hair.
So this is not going to be necessarily a Thanksgiving themed episode because we have exciting news.
We do.
And
I do want to say though, I'm thankful for you.
I'm thankful for you, John.
And I'm thankful for all of you.
And all the people who watch us, we're very thankful. Yeah. And I'm going to have to apologize right now ahead of time because we did go to Kentucky. We had mentioned this. Last week, I did not air a Kentucky episode, and that's because we got back on a Sunday, and we would have to air a new episode talking about Kentucky between Sunday and Tuesday. Yeah. It wasn't happening.
No.
We knew this could be a good possibility. We weren't going to be able to do an episode, so we had a filler. We had a filler. We had a spare episode we threw in there that we wanted to use that we had recorded a little while back. And we were like, let's use this because we might need to use this for after Kentucky. And that's what we did. But we are back from Kentucky. It is exciting. We had a blast.
Great time.
And epic time. And what was cool, John? What was the coolest thing about going to Kentucky was what?
Besides the bourbon?
Besides the bourbon.
Our buddies from Poor Man Poison flew out from California and met us out there.
Yes, our buddies from Poor Man's Poison.
All 4 of them.
Yes, all of them. I know.
The whole band came out on day 1.
Yeah.
And we hung out the whole week together.
Which was freaking cool that these guys are. We had joked around with Dustin initially when he was on our podcast about, you should come to Kentucky. And he turned around and said, hey, we're going to come.
Yeah.
So
he said, all right, is it cool if I bring the band?
Yeah, no, it's not all right.
Just you, man. We didn't invite them, just you. Of course it's cool.
Yeah. It was really cool that they did this, and they made the trek. And but we're going to we want to talk a lot about our experience hanging out with those guys. But we're going to kind of do like a two-parter on this.
Yeah, we're going to do a two-parter. We're going to do that next episode.
Yes.
I think this episode we want to get into our bourbon experience, our distilleries, what we did, and then for our 100th episode, next episode, part 2, we want to pay homage to our experience with the boys.
And we will have a clip with those guys too in the second episode as well for episode 100. So that's something to look forward to, guys. You can see we had a couple of the guys do a clip with us at Buffalo Trace. But yes,
let's get started because we've been back. We've been back not even a week.
Yeah.
And I'm jonesing. So
yes.
I just got out of rehab yesterday. It didn't work because
he said
drank so much bourbon.
No.
I need more.
And we have right now. This is one of the highlights was obviously Buffalo Trace, and we said let's have something for Buffalo Trace. And I'm like, dude, did we ever have Weller Special Reserve on here? And I'm looking through our list, and I'm like, I don't think we did. So I'm throwing it on there. So
sweet. Cheers. Ooh, that's good.
That's
nice.
Goes down smooth.
Nice.
And they had this on the shelves at the distillery. The only reason I didn't buy it was one of those things like, do I want to lug around stuff? Like I have maybe 4 bottles of this right now at home.
Yeah.
Do I want to lug it around pack my?
We barely packed what we were able to bring back.
Yes.
Like, we were struggling there trying to figure it out.
I didn't buy any bottles from there.
No, I didn't either.
So we got there. Our tour. Well, you want to let's
start from day one.
We'll get there.
So we left on a Wednesday morning and day 1. So what did we do? We did Jim Beam, Willett, and Heaven Hill.
Yeah, we started out with Jim Beam.
Yeah.
and it stinks because we kind of had to rush through these places because we had a tour booked for Heaven Hill, so we were at these places between Jim Beam and Willett. We were at each place maybe a half hour.
Yeah.
It wasn't super.
Maybe Willett might have even been a little less.
It might have been a little less.
We flew into Louisville.
Yeah.
And those are kind of on the way, closer to, well, probably right in the middle between Frankfurt and Louisville.
It was a little bit of a detour going because we were heading to, our game plan was to go to Louisville and then drive and stay in Frankfurt. Right. So stay the first 2 nights in Frankfurt, and then
we came
back to Louisville, and
for
it was
2 nights.
And it was great because the airport was
7 minutes from the hotel.
7 minutes, yeah. So we didn't have to worry about traveling. Originally, we were going to do Louisville first, but we're like, you know what?
Didn't make sense.
Let's do something where it's closer to the airport so that we can sleep a little later and
or roll out of bed.
And go. So it made sense to us to do this, and it worked out perfectly.
I think it worked out great.
Yeah. So we did go to Jim Beam,
which was very cool. Just seeing, so when I think of Jim Beam, I think of like Jack Daniels, right?
Yeah.
Jack Daniels, Jim Beam.
Yeah.
I don't think of a big distillery. I think of it more of like a national chain, like a Pepsi Cola, Coca Cola.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you get there, it's not. It's a true just distillery. Like it's freaking cool, man.
And we had banging empanadas there.
We did. We had really good
really good
empanadas.
Yeah, those were fantastic.
And our first drink was a mint julep.
Mint julep. It felt right.
It did.
Couldn't go to Kentucky without getting a mint julep at one of these places.
Yeah, if you go to Kentucky, you can't have a mint julep in an old fashioned. Like you have to have those somewhere along the lines.
And
we got the mint julep out of the way.
Yeah, we figured that let's do. We know that they're gonna have mint juleps there. Like the restaurants we go to may not, or if they did have it, it might not be like legit mint julep.
Yeah,
this had the crushed ice. It was nice.
It was a lot of ice. It looked like a snow cone.
Yeah, it was good. And by the way, too, guys, we did have a clip. You can check it out on Instagram of Jim Beam. So we'll have that on. I'll have that up by the time this airs. I think
we do. I don't remember. We did so much stuff. I don't even remember.
We did it while we were eating. I think we did it in the bar section area there.
Sweet.
I'm pretty sure. And if it's not up there, that means we didn't record it.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure we did. But we'll put that up on our Instagram, and I'll put it on Threads.
But as soon as you pull into Jim Beam, you pull in, and it's like Yellowstone, right? You go underneath the sign.
Yeah.
Right? You go underneath the Jim Beam sign, and then there's like a shack there with a big Jim Beam on it.
You know that feeling when you're going into like Disney World or something and you're a little kid? This is like
Magic
adult
Kingdom.
Disney World, and you see the guy, the statue right when you walk in, and he's holding the cup out and everything. And
welcoming you in.
Yeah. Awesome area. But then I tried to, so they have like this bar, I think they use it for like, maybe tastings or something like that.
Or like a tour tasting.
So we went to eat first, went to the restaurant. I'm like, let's check out that indoor bar and see how that is.
Let's go get a drink real
quick. I go to the girl. I was like, is there any bartender here? She's like, oh, that's not for, they don't use that for that. And I was like, oh, whoops, sorry. So,
but the place was cool. They had old bottles of stuff.
Yeah, some old granddad. Yeah, some Booker stuff.
Merch, cool looking merch.
It was cool to see it. To see to at least. We were excited, even if it was not for a very, very long time, and even considering we didn't do a tour there, it was still worth the. I don't care if I spent 5 minutes there or a half hour there or whatever. I'm happy to just go there and check it out. Maybe next time if we ever go back, we'll spend more time.
Yeah, but we did what we planned to do. We planned to. That was going to be like our lunch spot.
Yes.
We needed to make sure we got to Beam so we can have a little bit of lunch, and we did.
And this is
we ate it fast, but we did.
And this was without the band, by the way.
Without the band,
they arrived later.
They came at we met them later at night.
Dinner. Yeah, we met them at dinner.
So we did Beam. We ate lunch just like we planned to.
Yeah.
And then Willett was a filler.
Yeah.
Willett wasn't on the original plan, really.
No, it wasn't.
But
it was right near Heaven Hill.
It's like across the street. Like you can spit, you can see each other.
I would have been kicking myself in the ass if I didn't stop there. I'm like, John, we can do it. We can do it.
Yeah, like I'm kicking myself in the ass for one spot, but we'll talk about that later.
All right. Well, we did we included a clip. We did a clip of Willett too.
We did do a clip of Willett.
So we'll include that on Instagram too. You guys can check that out. We'll have a couple of clips. We got a lot of homework to do here, man.
I cannot remember the bourbon I had at Willett, and I have to look it up because I thought it was really good. It was the vanilla flavor, and it was so nice. Like
I went a little cheaper because I have I know cheaper because they had different Willett purple top the purple tops are the bourbons. They had quite a few options, and I got the 4-year one, which is like the bottom of the barrel. Like, it's only 4 years, but it was really good. I got a
They
cool
let you keep the
glass
yeah.
actually out of that one.
Mine was in plastic.
His was in plastic. Mine was in a cool glass I can keep, and but it was really good because I haven't cracked it, but I have a 9-year purple top at the bar here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have the high end stuff. All right, I'll try it at some point.
And all these places are cool because where they're distilling and barreling and all this stuff, it's just right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not like it's hidden somewhere and you're just by the store. Like everything's there. So we looked inside. We saw the Willett. They have a cool outdoor patio where we're sitting around, and they had fire pits, and people were.
I want to go back.
A coffee shop.
I want to go back there definitely because we didn't give it once again the time that it deserved.
Yeah, 100%.
And it was cool just to check that out real quick. And then after Willett, we went to Heaven Hill, which we'll have another clip for Heaven Hill as well.
Yeah, so we had a tour there. So
yeah,
we had to be there, and we got to our tour like 5 minutes before it started.
Yeah.
But the best part is, at a 20-person tour, there were 3 of us.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
It was just 3 of us.
It was me, John, and some guy who drove from Texas
on crutches.
He goes, "Wait, you're telling me you don't have Old Fitzgerald available right now?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I drove from Texas." And I go to the guy and said, you could call.
Before you hopped in the car. That's great.
Poor old guy.
But he was funny, though, because he would answer every question, and then he would ask a question but answer it.
Yes. I'm like, once again, you're asking a question you know the answer to.
Yeah.
Because you're saying the answer while you're asking it.
Yeah.
But
did you know there was a fire here years ago? Well, it started when blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh no, he was like, "Was there a fire here years ago?"
Yeah,
it started when the barrels were rolling.
I know, man.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, it was hilarious, but he was a nice guy.
Yeah, he was cool.
But the cool thing was, they had one of the choices was when the ones that they were sampling was the Elijah Craig C923, which we had on here.
C923, yeah, which apparently you can't really find anywhere.
Yeah,
and she was even shocked that it was there because her earlier tours it wasn't.
That's when I was teaching her a couple things.
Yeah.
I was like, that's I was telling her all the facts. It's I think 13 years, 7 months, coming at 133. I forget, something along that lines. And I knew it then, and it's weird. Like when I drink, I start to remember things more.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's a good bottle you have right there. And she was like, oh yeah, this is great. And then she goes to us. She's like,
but she was adamant that they didn't have it.
Yeah.
And even the guy, it wasn't on the shelves.
Yeah.
Like, it was not there.
Yeah. But, towards the end of the tour, she goes...
It was almost like a drug deal.
Yeah, she's like, do you guys really like that C923? She's like, I may have some that we can get you guys.
Yeah. I wonder if they do that with everybody.
Yeah, but it wasn't on the shelves.
They have like 1,000 of them in the back.
I know. And I picked one up. John picked one up.
Mine came home. Yours didn't.
Mine we'll talk about later. Ended up, I said no. This is going to be it's a special night. We're hanging out with special people. That sounds funny. We're hanging out with special people.
Thank you. Have you seen my baseball?
I had that for we'll talk about that later.
But that tour wasn't a tour. It was just a tasting.
Yeah.
We had five tastings.
Yeah.
It
was kind of a tour. They put us in like this big barrel, and then there was like a screen that went around.
It showed how they burned the barrels.
Yeah, it was educational.
It was educational. Well, each tour we did was different, which was good. Like, it wasn't repetitive.
Yeah,
tours that we picked were
everything
on point.
was. Yes, every experience, and that's part of the reason why we pick different experiences at different places, because we're like, we don't want it to be the cookie cutter tour where it's the same thing over and over and over. This is how you make bourbon.
Yeah.
But the cool thing, I liked that bar at Heaven Hill.
That bar
upstairs
was awesome.
Was cool. It wasn't busy or anything, but it was like she made us this. What was it like? Campfire.
It was a Kentucky campfire. They called it. It was an old fashioned with a toasted marshmallow in it.
Oh my God, that's
chocolate syrup around the rim with crushed graham crackers on top.
Man, it was really, really good.
And they used a smoked, which I forgot which bourbon it was. It was a smoked bourbon. I don't know.
I don't remember.
But it was, or maybe she smoked it.
And they had that little patio. And by the way, we were blessed with gorgeous weather that day.
Man, it was like 90 degrees.
I kept saying, "This is great weather." No, it wasn't 90. No, it was in the 70s. It was in the 70s. It was gorgeous, gorgeous weather. Because when it was 90 degrees, I'm like, nah, that's not nice weather. That's too hot for me. But it was like, yeah, it was nice breeze. I think it was like in the mid 70s or high 70s.
Yeah. And actually, when we between Willett and actually when we were at Willett, we got the call from the guys that said that they landed, and they were originally supposed to meet us at Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
But their flight was super long.
Yeah. They were traveling from California.
They went from California to Denver and Denver to Kentucky.
God. And the hour the
hour change.
3 hours difference from there.
So they just wanted to go to the hotel and refresh.
Yes.
So we were probably going to have another one at Heaven Hill, but then they called us and they're like, "Hey, we're hungry. We're going to go to this brewery. You guys want to meet us there?" So we were like, "Check, please. Gotta go."
Yep, let's get going. And we're like,
doing like 90 down Kentucky roads. Here we go.
After a couple tricks, yeah. But also, another thing I wanted to mention, too, about Heaven Hill, I picked up a bottle of that Five Brothers, which is a distillery exclusive.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
I
did.
forgot about that.
Yes, I did.
All right.
Distillery exclusive. I said, all right, if I can't get this anywhere, I'm buying it.
I think I liked that one. I don't remember. That's just whiskey, right? It wasn't bourbon.
It was bourbon.
It was bourbon?
Pretty sure.
One of them we had was just whiskey. It wasn't bourbon. I don't remember which one it was.
I don't know. But that was day one, basically.
That was day one.
And then
we wound up meeting them at a brewery.
Yeah.
We didn't do many breweries. That was really the only brewery
I think it
did.
was.
Yeah, it was a brewery.
We had local brewery beers at certain...
Good Works or good something?
Yeah.
Something like that. Good Works
Brewery?
Yeah. And we had food and...
Goodwood, maybe?
Goodwood?
Yeah.
Goodwood, yeah, you're right. Goodwood.
Yeah.
Goodwood. And
the beer was pretty good.
We had beer and we had a little bit of food.
Pretty good. And then day 2 was the big day. That was like when we actually were going to be able to spend more time. Unfortunately, though, we were all
we were hungover.
A little hungover. A bit hungover after meeting these guys and partying and doing our thing.
Yeah, we stayed up pretty late outside with them and hanging out. And so we opened up that bottle of Elijah he bought.
Yeah.
And so the next morning hurt, but as soon as that first sip hit your mouth, your whole body just said, "Yes, sir, I'm ready to go."
Hair of the dog. But
so we went to Woodford. We started the day with Woodford. We actually, that was a cool tour, man.
Yeah.
Woodford is really cool. It felt like I was at like Caddyshack. Like it felt like a country club.
Yes.
We didn't belong there at first.
Yeah.
Everybody was in sports jackets and like muffins.
They had their sweaters wrapped around their neck to look. It was a bunch of chads.
And then here we come with our sweatshirts and our beards, all loud.
And but it was a cool, and we did that. That's when we did the thing where they had.
It was a tasting.
It was a tasting, but they involved like food with it, not real food. It was like a malt ball. There was a Parmesan cheese crisp.
Yeah, butterscotch
chips.
Sesame seed crackers.
Yeah.
And one other thing, apples, like dried apples.
Dried apples, yeah. So you were kind of pairing each thing with it, which, wow.
Yeah, it was cool.
Wow, your senses senses overload. Just trying all that and doing all that, and it was really, really interesting. Like I said, once again, it was a totally different tour than what we had done with that.
I think that tour started at like 10:30.
Yeah, it was our first tour.
Then we got lunch.
And
then this is where I'm kicking myself. The one I'm kicking myself.
What?
Wild Turkey was right there. We drove past it. The driveway was there.
I know.
And we just kind of.
I know.
When I go on like the bourbon pages and I see the guy like signing.
I know.
Jimmy
I threw it out there. We had a lot on our plate that day.
I think we had. It was a lot of timing issues. We probably could have went in there real quick, but. If we're going to go in there, we kind of want to enjoy it.
Well, here's the thing, though, with Wild Turkey. At least right now, and down the line, in whatever years, if you guys watch this video and you see this, it might be a totally different thing going on there. But Wild Turkey, the distillery, is close to the public right now. They just have the store there, so
yeah, it's just a store.
Yeah, but Jimmy Russell pops his head in there, and
often.
Yeah. So that would have been cool, maybe to see something. Maybe that we could have picked something up real quick. Yeah. But once again,
But the next place we went to was really freaking cool.
So we went to the music store, right, with the guys? Is that what?
Oh well, So what we did was we got lunch after Woodford.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of bourbon tours, guys driving buses, and these guys know everywhere to go.
Yeah.
So we were talking to one of them, and he recommended the sandwich spot in his downtown area, and it was like old school Main Street.
Was it like Betty something?
It was Heavens to Betsy.
Heavens to Betsy.
Yeah.
And
So I had a grilled cheese. You had a roast beef. I think some of the guys had Reubens.
Yeah, apparently they were known for the Reubens there.
Yeah.
But I was just not in the mood for
cool
Reuben.
old store, music store, old school music store.
Yeah, and the guys ended up buying. Tommy bought a microphone, and Dustin bought the pocket trumpet.
Yeah, the pocket trumpet.
Which is
the pocket trumpet.
That's when I made the comment. That's what I call mine.
Yeah.
but
it was cool. It was a cool little town to just sit. I don't think they liked us there either. I think we almost got ran over at one point. The guy wouldn't let us cross, and he just went.
Yeah, his
pickup truck.
Redneck pickup truck. Yeah. But it was a cool area. Nice little downtown. It was a cool spot. I think it was a cool spot, and that's we were still out in the country, kind of.
It was
there.
country.
So obviously, you guys should know this, but if you don't, we're telling you right now: Louisville, Frankfort, totally different animals.
Yes, sir.
And so we started out. So we went.
Frankfort's like Western Kentucky. It's farms, and it's where like all the horse farms are.
Yeah.
For like the Kentucky or just horses in general. All horse farms there.
And just real quick, the Woodford was the census tour, right? Discovery of the census.
That was
I think.
The census tour.
And
because,
then
the pairing, yeah.
After we ate, we went to Four Roses.
Four Roses.
And Four Roses was like the more like a historic, like or legendary.
It was called the Legacy tour.
Legacy. That was I would say legendary. It was legendary. The Legacy tour.
Now that was more involved. That
very
was cool.
involved.
Yeah.
Where we saw the mashes and we saw everything. We went into that really hot room.
Yeah, it was hot.
And that was probably the most detailed. Maybe I would say might have been.
One was hot, or the tour guide was hot.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was the most detailed as far as I think a lot of the processes. I think
Yeah.
Not to say Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace was up there too. I think they were pretty deep. But
that was a later tour.
Well, that was after that. We're getting into
everything was like working. Like,
yeah.
Everything was working on this tour. It was like you saw like the white dog coming down like out of the. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It was freaking cool.
That
man.
was really
cool.
Very informational. Cool Spanish style distillery. The way they have it there. Beautiful. It was really nice.
Yeah, I liked it.
And we
the
picked.
tasting was really good.
The tasting was good.
Everything we had there.
And we got to keep. Oh, I don't have it down. Oh, I do have it down here. We got to keep the water glass, which was.
It's cool that it's the water glass.
My wife is like, I love this glass because the rose is
absolutely.
engraved on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Can you show that?
I think she said that
camera. Yeah, it's pretty
if
cool.
you press it into a cookie, you can use it as a cookie cutter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, so you can drink your bourbon and make cookies at the same time,
Yeah.
people. But then, so that
and we didn't know she it's like we all thought she mentioned it, but then we all like stared at each other.
Yeah, did we get to keep these?
Keep this?
Yeah.
And then when we saw people walking out with it, we were like,
okay,
all right.
We're from Jersey. We're gonna take it no matter what. So.
Yeah. Whether or not I can have it, I'm leaving.
Yeah,
with
it's going in our pocket. But
we'll take all my glasses.
and I picked up a Four Roses. God, what was the recipe? Regardless, it was a 5-tier. So
Damn,
which
you
is
picked up
higher
a Four
alcohol.
Roses too while we were there.
Yeah.
How the hell did you fit all this shit back?
I think I made. Did I name? No, I didn't name all the ones I picked up. I picked up. I brought back 3 bottles.
Oh, okay. So you already said 2.
Because the Elijah Craig we drank. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
I picked up that one from there. I was like, dude, it's a 5-tier. I'm like,
wow. So we did 3 tours that day.
yeah.
Wow.
Because then we went to Buffalo Trace. So
Wow.
Buffalo Trace. I put in a request for Freddie. We wanted Freddie. I was like
Johnson, not Kruger.
Freddie Johnson from if you ever watch NEIPA, he is basically what makes that documentary because like he's the one that gets us all teary-eyed when he talks about things and having drinks and everything with having it with your family and friends.
Yeah.
And so John, you could tell this one.
Unfortunately, we didn't get Freddie.
Yeah.
But as soon as we pulled into the lot, we took a bunch of pictures in front of the big Buffalo Trace sign. As soon as we walk on the grounds, I was like, dude, there he is.
Mm-hmm.
There he is. And we were like fanboys. We like ran. Freddie. Freddie.
Freddie, I love you.
And we saw him inside, and we cornered him. And I believe me, you, and Dustin, we got to take a picture with him.
Yes.
Which it doesn't matter who I show. They're going to be like, okay, who's this guy?
I know.
They don't know.
But to us,
it was cool.
and when we take the photo, he goes, whiskey. And then no cheese.
But the guy was so nice. When
Yeah.
he's done, he's like, guys, it was really nice meeting you. He's like, now go make some memories. And we were like, I wanted to cry when he said that. I was like, well, I'm making it right
Damn
now.
right, I'm going to make some memories.
I'm making one right now, man.
This is a memory.
But then he ran because he was like, before anybody else asked me for a picture, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yes, we got
'Cause
lucky.
He must get stopped all the time. But
We got
he's
lucky.
an employee. He just walks around. He's just a popular dude there.
Yeah, so it sucks that we didn't have him do our tour. The guy was very good, by the way.
The guy, Ron, I believe it was.
Yeah,
Yes,
he was very good. So, but we were happy to see him.
Saw everything. Well, all right. So Four Roses, we saw the mash, right?
Yes.
We didn't see that part at Buffalo Trace.
No.
But we saw
The Rick House.
The Rick House. We saw where
Warehouse
the
C.
barrels come in.
Yeah.
We saw where they burn the barrels. We saw where we saw them bottling Blantons.
Yes.
We saw a lot of stuff there.
And like we said, we're going to actually include it. We're not going to. It'll be on Instagram too, but we're going to include it on the next episode. The clip with the guys at Buffalo Trace.
So it was, so Buffalo Trace, that tour was actually my favorite because I was more interested on the Rick houses and where they stored and how they stored because you're talking hundreds of Rick houses with thousands of barrels, just one after another after another after another,
I know.
everywhere.
I know.
And then you look in between like the rows and it just goes and
it was just like that nice, cool, musty kind of
it
smell.
stunk, and it was cool learning. They said a couple things about like Pappy.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Oh yeah, when they were picking it.
when they were
So
picking it. Some of the barrels were even like empty,
yeah.
and it wasn't supposed to be Pappy, and it became Pappy.
Yes.
A lot of stuff was cool.
Julian Van Winkle selects whatever ones from that Rick House and everything, and says this we're going to use this one for Pappy and everything, and
then you saw a couple of barrels that they put to the side for barrel picks, store picks.
yeah.
And it was cool. We saw where they burn the barrels. We saw where they unload the barrels.
Very
and it was cool.
informational, yeah.
Very
And that was
informational.
the basic tour. That was just the Trace tour.
But it was like an hour and 20 minutes. It was long, or hour and a half.
Yeah.
It was long
Yeah,
and it's free.
and it's free.
That tour was the only tour that was free.
That was the only tour we had to book within a minute of it
Yeah.
being released for that date.
It sells out within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna go to Buffalo Trace, you got to be on that button like at 10 a.m. If it starts at 10, be on it like 9:30 and just keep hitting refresh.
Yeah.
Because we tried to do the EH hard hat tour.
Oh
or
yeah,
something, and
that
we
was
couldn't-
done
We couldn't get that.
fast, very fast.
But also going back to Woodford, they actually was getting a corn delivery while we were there.
Oh,
which
that was
too,
cool.
yeah.
We saw all the corn.
corn coming down and
Yeah.
and they sample 6 spots of the corn, right? The front, the middle, the back,
Yes.
and then underneath the front, the middle, and the back.
Oh.
And if one of them don't taste good, the whole
Yeah.
truck's going back.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. They say even like if it gets like a gasoline kind of
Sometimes
smell
it
or
smells like diesel. or-
diesel, that was it.
yeah.
Yes, because of the truck that's driving. I guess I'm assuming if they didn't change their oil or something or
Yeah.
something.
And they'll
whatever.
send the whole truck back. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Cool spot. That was definitely cool. That was day 2. Day 3 was more of a relax. We had one tour booked.
Well, day 3 was, we had one tour booked, but it was our way leaving Frankfurt, going back to Louisville.
Yes.
So we kind of did Louisville to Frankfurt. We hit a few going towards, and then we hit going back.
Then going back, we started with
Castle and Key.
Castle and Key.
We went to Castle and
And
Key.
we got Old
which We didn't do a
Fashions.
tour.
The old fashioned was it was all right. It wasn't
It was
bad.
strong.
It was very strong.
It was strong. And it was in a plastic cup. I don't know how I feel about my old
I
fashioned
know,
plastic.
I know. A lot of history there. Gorgeous grounds.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. We didn't do a tour, but once
We
again,
didn't do a tour.
Yeah.
There was no need. We just wanted to experience the castle itself.
we want to see Old Taylor. That's what. So
yeah.
for those who don't know, that's the old Taylor distillery.
Yeah, and the name is still etched in there. Like,
Yeah.
it was really
A
cool.
lot of history there. Even
Food
in
truck.
when we were inside the store. And we're shopping around. They had that old like oven thingamajigger. Dustin from the band was a genius with that, explaining it to me, and I was like, "Wow, this is pretty cool." I'm glad someone knows.
We don't have glasses.
Oh, that's all right. Let's do a little bit more bourbon. I'll get the glass in a second.
All right.
But yeah, Dustin had explained that it was pretty cool. All the information that he knew.
Yeah, he knew. He was our tour guide.
Yeah.
He was teaching us.
He was definitely our tour guide, and but once again, we'll talk about those guys the next episode. But a lot of history there, very cool. I loved it. Castle and Key,
and those were and there was a lot of like their rick houses. They're old, man.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And Castle and Key is really not old. I mean, it's the old Taylor, but Castle Key hasn't been around that long,
Mhm.
right? 2000 something, 5 or not even that, not even maybe.
Yeah, it's fairly new because when you
It's
watch
fairly
Neat,
new. The lady was the head distiller. I don't think she's there anymore.
no, she's not there anymore. Marianne,
Yeah. My mom?
she was the distiller. Yes,
Oh.
Your mom's
My mom's Marianne.
pretty hot too.
Thank you. Thank you. Cheers, Mom.
Watch Neat, you'll see what we're talking about. But yes, I'm sure your mom is a very lovely lady. But we're talking about someone else. But yeah, Castle and Key was cool. But then
Leaving there, we even passed a couple of like small time distilleries that were really cool to see. I don't know if you guys were chatting. Dustin hopped in the car with us and we were driving to the next spot, and I was driving and looking at the same time,
checking out all places.
Yeah.
And then talk about our next stop. I'm gonna get the glasses because I forgot to put them on the bar. But
So our next stop was Whiskey Thief, which was my favorite spot of the whole trip. Whiskey Thief is like, man, it's small. It's almost like going to a brewery. It's just a big barn, you know. What they have like 2 or 3 masher, like right. There wasn't much.
Oh yeah, it was the tanks. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, the big barrels that they
Yes, and it's funny because when you go to like some of these higher end distilleries, they're like, don't touch anything, don't touch anything, whatever. At Whiskey Thief, he's like, dip your finger in it.
So I put my finger in the yeast. I had it, and then I dipped my finger in the second stage, which was sour. Ugh. There were flies in there, and they were just like upside down.
Yeah, right. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. There might have been one fly, but
that's 6.
So the cool thing about that though was when
we could have paid for a tour, but we didn't do a tour.
We didn't do a
just
tour.
did a
We didn't need a tour.
Yeah, I don't know why people would pay for a tour.
Oh my God! We walked in, and we see them taking these long rods. I forgot what you call those things, and they're sticking it
made out of copper
in the bunghole of the barrel, and and they're just taking bourbon out. And everyone's sampling bourbon from these.
So they gave us a glass, which I think you have yours right there.
Yeah, Whiskey.
They gave us a glass.
That was it.
It comes with. It was $15. It comes with the tasting.
Yeah.
And you get 5 drinks out of it, but the drinks are right from the barrel.
Right from the like when they say something straight from the barrel, I think this was literally straight from the barrel. Like there was, and I was showing the guys too, and it's completely normal. I had charred sediments in my glass.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, that's.
Too into drinking it.
I'm like, that's really straight from the barrel, right there. That's part of the experience. So you chew and drink at the same time, and what a way to get people to buy their product.
Because you bottle it yourself.
So they had like, what was it? Like 4 very close variations, I think it was, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And which kind of pushes us to say, oh, dude, that place. First one, all of us were like, wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
Second one, we're like, I don't know. I might like the second one better. And I didn't know if that was possible. And it just kept going on and on and on.
Yeah.
When I was picking, so we ended up, if you just decide you want to buy a bottle, they have different sizes.
2 sizes and 2 types. You can get the round or the flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think we all got the round because the round was a cork and the flat was a screw top.
Yeah,
we wanted the cork.
We wanted the cork. And so, between all of us, some of us got smaller ones, some of us got larger ones.
I got a small one.
So I'm like, I'm definitely getting something. And I'm going to get a large one because this is something I want to just sip on for quite some time. John cheaped out.
I cheaped out.
Uh,
and when I'm done with it, I'm going to be like, God damn it.
Yeah. And so you pour your own, and I couldn't decide. I stood there for like a little while, like, I don't know which one I want. I think at first I chose like 2 or 1, and then I'm like, no, I want this one, or I went with like 3 or something.
You did 3, right?
Yeah,
I did barrel 2.
Yeah.
And Dustin and Tommy did barrel 1.
Yeah.
And Mike did. He did 1 too.
Yeah, he did.
I think he did 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all. It was so cool. Like, so you get there's 5 barrels, 5 tastings, and then you pick which one you want, and you throw it in a bottle, and you bring it home.
Mm-hmm. And then outside of that place, they sold beer there too, which was cool because we got to get some.
Yeah, you can get a drink there. You can get, they had. So it looked like if you ever went to like an upstate New York brewery, it's just the distillery itself, and then it was all like grass and picnic tables, and they had a food truck, and you can get beers, and you can get mixed drinks, and guy playing a guitar.
Yeah, it was live music, and they had food. Although we were a little pissed off that the food truck guy.
Well, that's what screwed our next one. You can tell them about that.
Yes,
one,
so we were waiting so long for
but
our
Whiskey
food.
Thief by far was my favorite.
Yes, it was pretty cool, but we were waiting so damn long for our food, and there was no bathrooms there, by the way. It was all porta potties, which is whatever. It's all right. It kind of was part of the feel for that a place like that.
That's all right.
But we were waiting so damn long for our food. Our next tour after that was Bulleit, and because we're like shit, we can't leave. We're all hungry. We want to get our food, and
I didn't eat.
he didn't eat.
I had pretzels.
I was hungry.
And that was another cool thing. They gave you there was just free buckets of pretzels, like little Snyder pretzels,
Yeah.
and water, like everywhere,
Yeah,
so
I
that
know.
you can just snack.
I
and
should have.
stay-
Yeah, we should have done that. But the food was really. When it eventually
I know.
came
When I
out,
saw it, I was jealous.
I'm like, this is really good, and I gobbled that thing right up. But because it took so long, we missed a good chunk of our tour with Bulleit.
But Ken called Bulleit, and he said, "Listen, we're backed up here, not at our fault."
Yeah, we're waiting for our food.
And the lady was accommodating and said, "All right, well, we'll let you do the tasting. You're just gonna miss the tour."
Yeah.
Which is 100% fine with me.
Yeah, we were cool with that. And the tour involved taking a bus, like a shuttle bus.
Somewhere we don't even know where.
We don't know. We missed all that fun stuff.
That's okay.
Yeah, we got our tasting. We had fun. We bought our.
We had an old fashioned there. We had the same thing. We had like a s'mores type of old fashioned there.
That
yeah.
was good too.
And they sold beer. So like Ryan's more of a beer drinker. He got a beer and
that was it was no matter even though we missed the full tour or whatever, we got to try the liquid.
we got to try the liquid. We were in the tasting room before the tour came back. So we got
Yes.
to just chill out
We
for
were
a little
sitting
while.
there hanging out, and we're like,
Yeah.
at least we get this. This is
And-
what we were paying for, really.
Yeah. And the tasting came with sniffers.
Mm-hmm.
So there was different things in the different wood in the
Yeah.
sniffers.
And the sniffers.
Right. I don't know what the hell you'd call
Yeah, they were like
it.
little.
It looked like a salt and pepper shaker, but fat.
It almost reminded me of like when you went to church and the priest was walking with the thing that he was shaking
Yeah,
around for the incense.
Yeah,
But it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
little mini versions that had like this different scents that you can kind of match it up. One was more vanilla-like.
Yeah.
One was more like clove. One was more like allspice.
So they make you sniff and then taste, and it's
Yeah.
like it's different. It makes it different. And
Caramel.
Caramel. Everything was caramel. That was the running joke.
That was the
of it.
running joke between the band. I was mainly Ryan with that one.
Yeah, that was great. I think he was making fun of me.
Yeah, I think so because everything we said, we get notes of caramel on
Caramel.
this, and I think they thought the way we say caramel is funny.
Yeah,
because I think
because it's caramel. They say caramel.
they say caramel or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna get shirts made.
got caramel.
Caramel. But it was cool because a lot of these tours we did came with droplets, like things of water.
Yeah,
They wanted you to drink some and then put like a droplet
Add a
of
little
water in
water,
it to
yeah.
see what it does. And to me now, honestly, so since we've been back, I've drinking quite a few glasses of bourbon at home.
do you have a dropper now?
I don't have a dropper, but I just put a squirt of water in it instead of putting an ice cube. Because
you-
the ice cube really.
Do you want a
waters it down.
dropper? I might probably have
Nah,
some.
it's all right.
Okay, but if you
So
want one.
I've been digging it,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
and I've been drinking it neat. I haven't had an ice cube since we were out there.
Yeah.
so.
yeah. But let's interrupt this one with a beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we get to day 3,
Or,
let's do this. So this is cool. Has nothing to do with Kentucky, but this is my boys at Brix City, and did a collab with our boys from Autodidact.
Autodidact, the Rons. Yeah,
The Rons, yeah. And we were talking the last time we were at Autodidact.
and they mentioned they were doing this.
I was wearing a Brix City shirt,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Hey, we're doing something with them," and here it is. They have their version over there.
Okay.
At Autodidact. This is Brix City's version.
Okay.
So this is Hammer Jams.
Hammer Jams.
Hammer Jam. MC Hammer Jam, and this is coming in at 8%. It's
Yeah.
a double IPA,
Yeah.
and that's it. Let's give it a shot. This is a
Yeah.
pretty cool can.
Yeah.
I like this.
It's a little scary, but
Cheers.
all right.
Was that
Cheers.
fire?
Oh,
Ooh, the smell before you even drink it. It smells so good.
This is really good.
This is really freaking good.
Wow. Great job, guys. Wow.
This might be one of the better jams that I've had in a long time.
Oh, we're jamming, all right.
We be jamming.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
What's the ABV? I'm sorry. Did you say
8?
8?
Yeah.
Wow.
No. Great job. Hey.
I can't tell if that's Satan or a heart on this head.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Hammer Jams.
Well, it's good liquid regardless. I like when I see breweries like, especially Autodidact. They're pretty
'Cause
new.
they're new, and they're doing a lot of
and they're doing
collabs.
collabs. They're well respected,
I was
obviously.
going to say, if they're doing collabs this quick, that
Yeah.
means they're putting out good stuff.
Yeah.
And the other breweries want a little piece of the action.
Yeah, they know. We were sampling. They were giving us cans before they even opened. I was driving over to their house, and picking up cans, and they're legit, man. They're good, and they're good people. So we give them a shout out there out of Morris Plains on Route 10.
Yeah.
Check
them out.
area.
Really cool spot.
In Brix City, Little Ferry. So,
Brix City.
yeah. But we're not going to do too much beer talk. We're going to sip on it while we're talking because we're still got a little bit more to cover, and we're trying to, go too crazy.
I believe besides the Goodwood Brewing Company, the only other beer I had from a brewery out there was called Country Boys.
Yeah, there was a couple local ones we had.
That was good though. We had it at Whiskey Thief.
Yeah.
They had a couple cans. I did a lager and I did the IPA because those guys left it there. Those drunk assholes.
Yeah. I know that's how we got our beer.
That's how we got our beer.
This guy, there was like a frat
college guy.
Yeah, I don't know. It was probably
they were assholes. They were loud, obnoxious, drunk, and they left all their garbage there, which I totally hate. They didn't clean up after themselves, and they left a couple of full cans of beer. And I was like, what?
The waitress was like, "You guys want these?" We're like,
"Oh yeah, she gave them to us."
Thank you. That kind of makes up for the food taking so long. We at least got to drink some beer. But yeah, that was. But then. What was the next day? We drove to Louisville.
So we drove to Louisville.
Michter's was the first tour.
We went out to eat and all that. We'll talk about that in the next episode, though.
Yes.
Because we're just doing our bourbon now.
Yeah.
We'll go over what we did extracurricular in the next episode.
Yeah.
So we woke up the next morning on day 4, and we had a Michter's tour.
Michter's, which I was hung.
We were all in a really bad
tough spot. Yeah,
because
bad
it was
spot.
a 20-minute walk from the hotel.
Oh my God! You would think that would help, actually, but
what was it, like a 10 o'clock tour or something?
It wasn't super early necessarily.
When you go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's super.
Might have been 10:30. Yeah, but I was like.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna heave just getting up.
God, I had no.
You were in worse shape than I was.
I was, and I hate to say that It's tough because you want to enjoy these tours as much as you can, but when you're in that kind of state, you're kind of
because the night before we went out, we didn't just chill and have a couple drinks in the room. We went out.
Yeah.
So the next morning we were feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
But once again, as soon as that first bourbon hit my lips and it went down, I perked right up.
Bit better. Yeah.
And I was like, let me do number 2. And then I walked out of there like a new man.
Let me do number 2.
New man.
I probably had to do about 20 number 2s that day, but
no, I didn't mean that number 2. I meant number 2 in the tasting. I had the first one, then I did the second one.
Oh, well.
No, not a number.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
But
every 5 minutes, I'm like, where is he?
Oh my God! I'm like, John, I got one more time before we leave. I gotta go. Let me just make sure.
It's like, turn the TV up.
Turn the TV up so you don't hear all the noise in there because we. But yeah, the.
Michter's was cool.
That was the first time I tried the Michter's barrel strength bourbon. I have a bottle, but I've never tried the bottle, and I was like, cool. That's part of the sampling.
Hold on. So, on top of each glass, they put a.
And they did that at Woodford, too.
So on top of each glass, they put this little thing to show you what it is.
Yeah.
So I actually put them in order of the ones that I like. I took them with me.
Yeah.
So the bourbon whiskey barrel strength was my favorite one.
That was the rarest one.
And then the bourbon whiskey, the Kentucky straight up bourbon whiskey was my second favorite.
Yeah.
And then the American whiskey, and then the rye and the sour mash. I wasn't a fan of the sour mash.
Not as much. Yeah, the sour mash is probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
I'm on a big.
But yeah, I kept them. It was cool.
But
because I want to look for these in the store.
The interesting thing with the sour mash is because they have Shanks. Shanks is another one of theirs. So we went out to eat. We'll talk more about what we did around there, but we went out to eat, and then we missed out on the bottles.
So they always have like a
release.
A release, but they do it at like noon,
random times.
1 o'clock. Yeah, it's random.
And they said call up. I called, and
they said they were out.
They said, "Oh yeah, we had Shanks."
Which wasn't even 1 o'clock yet.
And I was like, "Oh man!" I'm like, "Shanks is a good bottle, and that's a sour mash." And it's so weird that we don't like the regular Michter's one, but we like the Shanks sour mash.
Did we do that on the show?
Yeah, we've done it on the show. Yeah, and I was like, "Shoot, this sucks." But I have a bottle at home, so it wasn't a huge deal. And
where we ate was just like it was a block away. We're like, if we're here.
That's what we said.
Let's just go see. You never know.
That's what I said. I was telling the guys. I was like, guys, let's just check. Let's walk over there. You never know. They tell you one. That's just like when liquor stores around here. They tell you one thing, then you go there and then you see they have it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they just don't want to deal with it. They don't want people to call. They want people to just show up.
Yeah.
So we go there.
Because you're not gonna you'll buy something else then if they don't have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we show up there, and I was talking to the girl at the register. I'm like, oh, so what did you had Shanks? You kind of play stupid too. I was like, you know, and I'm like, so she's like, yeah, you know. I was like, do you have any left? And she goes, yeah.
She's like, I got one.
One left.
Somebody in the tour didn't want it.
Yes. So I have it at home. I have a couple bottles. So
But it was a 2-pack though. It was Shanks.
it was a regular. I think it was a regular. Or no, maybe it was American whiskey or the whiskey, the Michters. I was more than happy to say, Dustin, dude, you take it, dude,
Dustin
because
took it.
you know he doesn't have it, and I was like,
And he was bummed because we missed the E.H. Taylor at Buffalo Trace by not much.
yeah, he was bummed about
They
that.
just sold out when we got there.
Yeah. But
I probably would have bought that as well.
yeah. So at least you know one of us got that, which was cool.
E.H. Taylor? Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
was.
the each tail small. It's a small batch. It's not a huge
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
Whatever, you can get that. If you want one that bad, I'll find you one.
Yeah,
So.
it's
But yeah, so that was so we did end up going back there, and then what was after that was we didn't. Was that it?
So we took a break.
We took a break.
We took a break because we went out to lunch and we had a couple drinks.
We walked to the Bardstown tasting room, whatever. We didn't do anything there. We're kind of like
Bardstown was little. It looked like it was a little uppity.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever done Bardstown. I don't
No,
think
we
we've ever had
haven't.
Bardstown.
I don't think so,
I don't
no.
know if it's good or not. I'd rather go. We passed by.
I always confused Bardstown and Barton for some reason.
But we passed
yeah.
by the distillery when
Yeah.
we were in Bardstown. So I'd
Yeah.
rather, if I'm going to try it, I'd rather try it at the distillery, not just
Yeah.
a pop-up store or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
But we took a break. We needed to
Unload.
unload and chill for a few minutes. And then after a little while, maybe an hour or two, we met up again and we walked to Old Forester.
Old Forester. Cool place.
Yeah.
Really impressed.
Yeah.
Good cocktails.
Yeah. I actually had mine on the rocks.
Mhm.
And it's so funny. So you ordered a bunch of old fashions for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I want that. He told me I should get the Old Forester 120,
The 1920.
1920. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I wanted
Prohibition
it.
style.
I wanted it on the rocks, and
Yeah.
I kept bugging him. I'm like, is that okay? Is that all right? Because I'm like, if I order on the rocks, he's gonna look at me and be like,
There's no wrong way to drink. Listen to Freddie.
that's right.
It's the
There's
way
no wrong
you
way
like
to
it.
drink a bourbon.
It's the way you like it.
So I got on the rocks, and it was good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then we walked up the stairs, and we saw them
yeah.
bottling it.
Yes.
Yeah, that was. Really
I don't know
cool,
if the
man.
guys checked that out.
I don't think they did because we kind of all split up for a minute or
It
two.
was cool watching them. We probably have a video, guys.
I think I have a video on my phone. Yeah,
yeah.
maybe you do too. I don't know, but
Yeah, we can maybe post that on
definitely
Instagram
have a
too
video
at some point.
of them just it's
It
like
might not be. We have so many
but-
videos we're putting on. We might not do that one right away, but
it's robotic though. It's
Yeah.
it's just it's not people. Like Buffalo Trace was people. It was like bottle.
I
label,
think they were
bottle,
bottling
bottle.
the barrel strength Old Forester, the barrel strength bourbon.
If I see that in the store, I'm picking it up. I enjoyed it.
That one,
Yeah, I did.
yeah. I mean, I have bottles if you want. You know, it's a pricier one though. So
Yeah, well,
you know,
sometimes you got to treat yourself.
yeah. Treat yourself. But
That was the wound up being the last one we did. We were supposed to go to Angel's Envy.
we never did Angel's Envy.
So we got deterred. We'll talk about that in the next episode because
Yeah.
we did something else instead.
Yeah.
I don't remember what else was there. Evan Williams was there. We missed that.
It's impossible to get whiskeyed out, but it is possible to get. All right, have a headache and I kind of want to just chill for a little bit.
When you're with a larger group of people too, and some are getting like kind of, I'm over this.
But they were all good. Everyone was good.
Oh, everyone was good, but-
Everyone was good.
I kind of was like,
We all kind of
I'm over this as well.
exactly had it in the back of our minds. I don't need to do this.
And you know what it means? It's just an excuse to go back and do it again.
exactly.
Everything we missed this time, we're just gonna do the next time.
Yeah. But that was it.
That was it.
Next
our
episode,
experience.
we're going to talk about
We'll talk about everything we did with the guys.
With the
We'll talk
guys.
about the guys. We'll talk about what we did that doesn't include bourbon.
we have to dedicate episodes to the guys because they're so cool, man.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
guys. We did a couple other things that had nothing to do with bourbon, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. On
But
that
as
note,
of now,
yeah.
Shout out to Jim Beam, Willett, Heaven Hill, Castle and Key, Whiskey Thief,
Bulleit.
Bulleit, Michter's,
Old Forester.
Old Forester, Four Roses,
Four Roses.
Buffalo Trace,
Buffalo
of
Trace.
course, Woodford Reserve, Autodidact Brewing, and Brix City Brewing.
And shout out to Freddie for taking the time to take the
Shout
photo
out
with
to
us.
Freddie
What
Johnson.
an awesome dude, man.
We really made some memories that day.
We did make
And,
memories. On this whole trip, we made
meeting
memories.
meeting you at Buffalo Trace was like the icing on the cake. For us
Yes.
there, yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to Poor Man's Poison for meeting us there. We'll talk about more about that in the next one.
episode, guys.
Come back and watch us there. So.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
All right.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers to you.
Let's do it again soon.
Very soon.
Maybe not too soon.
Yes.